Hello everyone and welcome back to another modelled writing video here today. If you have been with us before, then you'll know how we structure these videos. If you are new here, welcome today. I hope you find this helpful. We are going to look at two task 2 questions. So they are the longer essay style questions. We are required to write a minimum of 250 words for these questions, and you'll have 40 minutes for this. So a bit longer than it will double the amount of time for task 1. And we'll go through that today. We'll look at the structure, how we plan for these essays, and then we'll do the write-up as if we were in the exam itself. So join us today if that sounds useful to you and perhaps you want a bit more practice with task 2, then you've come to the right place. Okay, so let's get stuck into our first topic, and this is going to look at traffic problems. So that's the broad topic here, and we'll have a look at the question together. In order to solve traffic problems, governments should tax private car owners heavily and use the money to improve public transportation. What are the advantages and disadvantages of such a solution? Okay, so we have a advantages and disadvantages type of question here. So we're going to talk about the benefits in one paragraph, and then we're going to talk about the drawbacks in another paragraph. So what are we thinking about here? The advantages of taxing private car owners heavily and using this money to improve public transport. So we're looking at all the good things about that and potential downsides to that. All right then, so let's go into our plan. Now our plan is so important to keep us on track, keep us focused, and we all have moments in exams where our minds might wander a little bit, so a plan helps us keep to the task. We only have 40 minutes, so it's not that long. So we want to make sure that we are putting everything in that we want to, and a plan will help us do that. Alrighty, so advantages, we can start with them, of taxing private car owners heavily and using the money to improve public transportation. Well, the advantage that's coming to my mind straight away is the fact that there'll be less cars on the road. So this will lead to it will benefit the environment. We can talk about that. And we can also talk about how previous car owners, if they perhaps move to public transport, they might save money, which is another benefit as well. So less cars on the road, and then we'll develop those 2 points with those examples. Those are the biggest advantages that are coming to my mind. Maybe we can go back if we think of any more, but how about we go to the advantage? Oh, let me just put advantages and then disadvantages here so we know what we're talking about. So, disadvantages of taxing private car owners heavily and putting this money into transportation. Well, if you are still a car owner, then this will put you at a disadvantage financially. Disadvantage. So some people, their car is very integral. Perhaps you live in the countryside and the only way to get around is through a car. So sometimes this is unavoidable, and therefore these people will be put at a disadvantage. Okay, so that's the one route we can go down. Another thought that I'm thinking is, well, if everybody's using public transport, then this will maybe increase commuting times. Oh, commuting times. And there might be delays. I mean, there are delays. Anyway, in the UK, there are strikes. So more people will be affected from these situations, and it might become quite inconvenient. But perhaps it depends how the public transport will be improved. So that might improve this area, but we'll lay these out anyway as potential disadvantages. Okay, so conclusion then. Well, we're just going to lay out the advantages and disadvantages. We're not being asked for our opinion here. So the conclusion, we're just going to restate that there are a few advantages and disadvantages. Of course, in the write-up that we'll do, we'll restate some examples from the essay itself, but that will just, yes, keep us on track there. Okay then, so we have our plan. So now we are ready to go to our write-up. And you might be thinking, oh, what's the first thing that we need to do for this essay? Well, we need to paraphrase this sentence here, put it into our own words. So in order to solve traffic problems, governments should tax private car owners heavily and use the money to improve public transportation. Right, so we could open this up with something like, it is argued that in order to solve traffic problems, to enable countries to reduce congestion on the roads, among other issues on the roads, governments should tax private car owners heavily. It's difficult we don't need to paraphrase every word, so we could say something like, we can say governments. Yes, governments should tax private car owners. Should raise the costs of owning a car, costs of owning a vehicle. In turn, this money or this maybe surplus can be or would be used to see positive changes within public transport. Let's have a read of this back and see how it sounds. It is argued that to enable countries to reduce, so we've already repeated ourselves here, 2 and 2. It is argued that Um, to it is argued that to enable countries, maybe we could rephrase this. It is argued that to reduce congestion and other issues on the roads, it's argued that in order to reduce congestion and other issues on the roads, governments should raise the costs of owning a vehicle. In turn, this surplus would be used to enact, maybe, would be used to enact positive changes within the public transport systems, maybe. Okay, so that is putting our sentence, this one here, into our own words as much as possible, with still keeping the meaning though, so we're not straying too far away from the meaning of this. Okay, so what are we going to do in our essay? We want to lay this out to state what we're going to, how to structure it. This essay will explore the benefits and also the drawbacks of such a maybe of such a suggestion, or of this point of view. This essay will explore the benefits and also the drawbacks of this point of view. Okay then, so we've set up our essay and now we can start with our advantages here. So we're going to do a topic sentence just to state what we are arguing in this paragraph. So we could say, higher prices for running motor cars, or higher prices for running and maintaining, or for owning. Higher prices for having motor cars would indeed lead to some advantages when it comes to the environment. Let's lay out what we're going to write: the environment and public transport users. Maybe we'll just stick to the environment and go from there. Some sets of advantages when it comes to the environment. So let's talk about less cars on the road, less pollution, and we can use a few examples there. We could say something like, this situation would no doubt motivate many individuals to stop owning a car if it is not entirely necessary, maybe. Therefore, with less cars or less engines on the road, less CO2 will be produced, and carbon footprints will be lowered. Now, we need to be careful here because we don't want to go off topic. So we're not talking about the environment with on its own. We want to link it in with, well, actually governments are wanting to solve traffic problems. So how will this actually help towards the traffic? Well, we can say that we can link this with, well, this situation is getting better, less money might need to be focused on the environment, and then even more money can be used to help public transport. So by default, helping or less by default improving the environmental situation would free up, even we can say, or would allow for even more public money to be saved and invested, to be saved and invested in the public services such as buses, trains, and buses. I'll just say buses and trains. Okay, so maybe we want to link this in. Let's just tie this all together. So extensive advantages when it comes to the environment, and as a result, these positively affect these will positively affect spending on public transport. So in other words, less money will be devoted to the environment because we're helping solve that, or not solve, but reduce that issue anyway. So therefore more money can be put into public services, and this will no doubt solve some of the traffic problems. Okay, so we could say a combination of improved, now we're going on to our next point, of improved transport across countries and higher rates for automobile owners, or owners. We could talk about, we didn't mention this before, but just another point is people driving for fun might be dissuaded to another, or would see or maybe a consequence of a combination of improved transport across countries and higher rates for automobile owners would be a reduced amount of people just driving for fun or leisure. Undoubtedly, and we're checking our spelling as we're going along and making sure that that's all okay. This combination of benefits would contribute to a safer or to a less problematic traffic situation. So there's more money to be spent on public transport, so more people are encouraged to use it because we're helping with the environment, so that's going towards more money for other areas. And higher costs would lead to less people just driving for fun, for example. Okay, let's read this back and see how it sounds. Higher prices for having motor cars would indeed lead to some extensive advantages when it comes to the environment, and as a result, these will positively affect spending on public transport. This situation would no doubt motivate many individuals to stop owning a car if it is not entirely necessary. Therefore, with less engines on the road, less CO2 will be produced and carbon footprints will be lowered. By default, improving the environmental situation would allow for even more public money to be saved and invested in the public services, such as buses and trains. A consequence of a combination of improved transport across, maybe we can just say improved transport, and higher rates for automobile owners would be a reduced amount of people just driving for fun and leisure. Undoubtedly, this combination of benefits would contribute to a less problematic traffic situation. Okay, so those are our advantages laid out. Now we're going to go into our disadvantages of this situation. What comes with the positives also brings to light some negatives. So we're just opening this up, linking this. What are we going to talk about? The main one would be less convenience and increasing commuting time on the public transport system. So we go from having problematic situations on the roads to problematic situations still, but through public transport. So while the private car situation might lessen, the traffic issues might with other forms of vehicles such as buses, the traffic issues with other forms of vehicles such as buses might worsen. Let's talk about why. So individuals being financially driven to use this form, to use these systems, they might become overused or they might become used past capacity. This can be seen in many cities across the world where the metros and subways at rush hour are in fact dangerous, or can be uncomfortable and even dangerous. Okay, so we've got an example there about how, well, we're just creating another problem if not enough is being done to improve the public transport. Any other problems? We've got less people buying cars, and this could in fact affect the manufacturers. Another issue that could arise is with the manufacturers, with the car manufacturers, suffering with less interest in owning a car or a vehicle due to the expense. We could also do a line to say that if families need a car, then this will really create a problem for them. Additionally, if a car or if some sort of private transport is essential for families, perhaps in the countryside, this could really be detrimental to their quality of life as the costs would be maybe perhaps in the countryside, this could be detrimental to their income and expenditure. Okay, let's read this back and have a think about how it sounds. What comes with the positives also brings to light some negatives. While the private car situation might maybe improve, or maybe while less private cars would mean, in theory, less problems. Traffic issues with other forms of vehicles, such as buses, might worsen. With individuals being financially driven to use these systems, they might become used past capacity. They might go over capacity. This can be seen in many cities across the world where the metros and subways at rush hour can be uncomfortable and even dangerous. Another issue that could arise is with the car manufacturers suffering with less interest in owning a vehicle due to the expense. You know what? I think that example, we can just do that. I think this second example is more effective, actually. Additionally, if some sort of private transport is essential for families, perhaps in the countryside, this could be detrimental to their income and expenditure. That's put with the current cost of living crisis. This could be detrimental to their expenditure. Yeah, okay. So we've just gone back, edited, made sure it sounds okay. Now let's tie this up with a conclusion. So in conclusion, There are benefits to raising the taxes of private car owners. For example, the savings or the improving environmental situation would lead to more money for the public, transport sector. However, on the other hand, this could create and this could not resolve and this could create some traffic problems in other areas. Therefore, not solving problem. Okay then, so that is our essay today. Let's see how many words this is. So we're looking for 250 minimum. Okay, so this has come to 338 words. So quite a bit over the 250 word limit, but at least you've seen the structure that we're doing here. So you can replicate that yourself either at home or in your practice time if you're doing some independent study. So we've had our advantages and our disadvantages, and of course our introduction and conclusion. Okay, so let's now go into our second question of the day, and this is going to be about global warming. This is a very common topic that can come up, something to definitely be aware of. And the environment and global warming and pollution, these are all things that that can come up in a variety of different questions. Okay, so before we go into this question, I just wanted to explain the way that we can approach this question. So for today, this problem solution question, I'm going to approach it in perhaps a slightly different way than what you've seen before. But what we can do is, for each paragraph, we can use a variety of these sentences. So, for example, you could have a topic sentence, a support sentence, like an example, then a solution sentence, and then a result sentence. Okay, so that's 4 sentences. Now, to double this and have 8 sentences per paragraph is quite ambitious for the time. So what we can do is we could, in fact, just pick and choose how to suit our what we can think of in terms of our points and what we want to argue. We could have one topic and maybe one support, and then maybe we could have 2 solutions and 2 results, perhaps. Or maybe we have 2 problems and maybe 1 solution. So you can really mix and match as long as you've got in the whole paragraph 1 of each, and then you can add on a few, then that's perfect. And I'll show you how we can do that today. Okay, here's the question. Global warming is one of the most serious issues that the world is facing today. What are the causes of global warming, and what measures can governments and individuals take to tackle this issue? Okay then, so we're going to think of the causes of global warming, and then we're going to think of measures that can be taken by governments and individuals So we're going to make sure to answer the question and mention both of those. Okay, then in our plan, let's think of a cause of global warming. Now, why is global warming happening? Well, maybe deforestation could be a point for the first paragraph. So that the rainforests are getting destroyed. The trees that release oxygen and actually soak in CO2. There's less of them, so there's more CO2 in the air. Okay, possible solutions to this. Instead of wood, we can source maybe sustainable materials. And we could talk about how forests are being turned into grazing areas for cattle and animals. So perhaps maybe a plant-based lifestyle could also contribute to less deforestation. Okay then, so another cause of global warming is the CO2 that is being pumped into the air by from factories, transport, things like this. So let's think of solutions. We could have increased public transport and maybe alternative alternative energy could be one. So instead of that's a more general solution, really. Okay, so in conclusion, then there are a variety of causes, but also some solutions. Okay, so we're going to structure this, like I said, in that different formats. So we'll put in one paragraph causes and solutions, and I'll show you how we can do that in the write-up. Okay then, so let's just move that here a bit. We need to paraphrase, just like with the last essay and with every essay that we're doing for task 2, we need to paraphrase this sentence here. Global warming is one of the most serious issues that the world is facing today. Rising temperatures for our world is an emergency in which humanity is currently battling with today, or which humanity is currently battling with. Rising temperatures for our world is an emergency in which humanity is currently tackling, maybe, or grappling with, dealing with. What are the causes of global warming, and what measures can governments and individuals take to tackle this issue? So this essay will illustrate some reasons as to why we are in a maybe climate crisis, and also discuss some possible solutions to this problem. Okay, there we go. So we've paraphrased and then we've laid out what we're going to do with the essay. All right, so let's go into our first paragraph, which is all about deforestation as our cause, and we'll explain that a bit, and then we'll talk about a couple of possible solutions. So let's open this up with one of the biggest contributors to the environmental concerns to today's environmental concerns is the issue of deforestation. It's the issue of deforestation. Okay. Rainforests protected and rainforests, diverse and rich areas across the globe are being destroyed at an, we can say, unfathomable, and let's try and spell this correctly, unfathomable rate. For example, the Amazon rainforest we can talk about is dramatically decreasing perhaps every year. Is dramatically decreasing. Let's do that. Decreasing year upon year. Trees that are vital for producing, so we're just explaining this a bit now, oxygen, O2, and also absorbing CO2. Are you're not able to do this, or are being wiped away, or are being eradicated. Eradicated for materials and space to farm animals. Oops. Okay, so that is our problem, and that is leading to global warming. Let's just put a line to make sure that we're linking this. So more CO2 is leading to a warmer world. Okay, now for our possible solutions, we need to think of we need to describe that other materials could be used, and perhaps a plant-based lifestyle could lessen this problem a little bit. So in order to reduce this from the impact of this, alternative materials that are sustainable and reusable could maybe we could take away in order to maybe tackle this. alternative materials that are sustainable and reusable could reduce the need for us to source goods from nature at this extreme rate. Let's talk about maybe bags being made of certain materials and materials that are better for the environment, and we're not having to use as much wood from the forests. Actually, we could talk about paper. For example, paper can be made from recycled paper nowadays, leaving no reason to destroy more trees. Let's just put a line about plant-based. Additionally, a move towards a more plant-based lifestyle. For instance, I know there was a meat-free Monday campaign. Meat-free. Let's do meat-free Mondays could contribute to less demand with farming animals, in turn saving the land for diversity. Saving the land for CO2 busting or CO2 sucking trees. Okay, let's read this back and see how this sounds. One of the biggest contributors to today's environmental concerns is the issue of deforestation. Rainforests, diverse and rich areas across the globe, are being destroyed at an unfathomable rate. For example, the Amazon rainforest is dramatically decreasing year upon year. Trees are vital for producing O2, maybe we could say oxygen, and also absorbing CO2, are being eradicated for materials and space to farm animals. More CO2 is leading to a warmer world. In order to tackle this, alternative materials that are sustainable and reusable could reduce the need for us to source goods from nature at this extreme rate. For example, paper can be made from recycled paper nowadays, leaving no reason to destroy more trees. Additionally, a move towards a more plant-based lifestyle, for instance meat-free Mondays, could contribute to less of a demand for animal products, in turn saving the land for CO2 absorbing trees. Okay, so we're just checking through, making sure we haven't repeated ourselves too much. There we go. So we have a problem, we've explained it. Then we have two solutions, and we have two results as well. Brilliant. Okay, let's go to our next paragraph, which is all about this problem of CO2 itself and what we can do to help with this. The issue of less trees being able to balance the CO2 levels, is perpetuated by the fact that carbon dioxide is being produced en masse all around globally. Okay, so not only are there less trees, but there's a lot more CO2 now. Let's think about cars and factories. Factories are producing harmful chemicals, harmful chemicals as well as transport, like flying, and in particular private jets, because they are incredibly polluting. We can put that. And significantly add to the global warming problem. Okay, solutions. Now let's think about the first solution, which is maybe public transport. Oh, we want to make sure that we're talking about governments and individuals as well. So individuals can take a plant-based approach, and maybe governments could support alternative materials. There we go. Oh, really important there in order to answer the question. Okay, so increased public transport, local councils and MPs could improve local transport systems, making them more effective and affordable, therefore less pollution will be produced by private vehicles. Let's put, and most importantly, they are can improve, make them effective and affordable. And let's put, most importantly, they are a more environmentally friendly option. Okay, there we go. So that's what the government can do. What about individuals? Let's have a think. So in terms of individual, we could eat more locally. Habits, a more local approach to sourcing food could negate some travel miles and lessen the contribution to global warming. Okay, let's read this back. The issue of less trees being able to balance the CO2 levels is perpetuated by the fact that carbon dioxide is being produced en masse globally. Factories are producing harmful chemicals, as well as transport like flying, and in particular private jets, are incredibly polluting and significantly add to the global warming problem. Local councils and MPs can improve local transport systems, making them more effective and affordable. Most importantly, they are more They are a more environmentally friendly option. In terms of individual eating habits, a more local approach to sourcing food could negate some travel miles and lessen the contribution to global warming. Okay, let's tie this all together. In summary, there are a variety of reasons of causes of the current environment crisis, such as deforestation, although there are some potential ways to lessen this impact. For instance, encouraging public transport. Encouraging public transport. There we go. Okay, then. Well, let's have a check of these words and see how many we've got. Okay, so this comes to 322 words. So again, a bit over the 250 minimum there, but this might be achievable for you in your essay, and at least you can see how we've structured this a bit differently to perhaps how you structured it before. But it's good to show you that there are different ways of tackling this type of question here. Okay, well that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for coming along today, and I hope that's been really helpful. Best of luck with your practice, and we'll see you next time.